everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus coming at you with some modern Jund. And for those of you that have joined the channel for the Incinerator burn lists, do not despair, I will get back to that deck shortly. So I wanted to take a short break and give some love to the rest of our channel, which a lot of people have joined to see Death Shadow and Jund content. And we are starting out with a Jund deck similar to something I worked on pre M21 coming out, and that was Lurrus in the main Jund. We've been toying with some builds that were doing some Bloodbraid Elf stuff, some Lurrus of the Dream Den in the main. This particular version is by Danny Bambino. He recently did, I believe, top 16 in one of this weekend's modern challenges. So this is an up-to-date Jund list that is combating the new things in the format, like Snow being the dominant thing, like Snow being the dominant thing, like Snow... Oh, I mean, sorry, that's not new. Like Snoop Goblins showing up, and obviously the other changes to the format, where the format has become much more balanced overall since the fixing of the companion mechanic. That said, we are playing a companion in our main deck, Lurrus of the Dream Den, very powerful card, playing around it a little bit with Mishra's Baubles and Seal of Fires. And before we get into the actual deck itself, as a friendly reminder, if you like modern content, especially stuff of the Lightning Bolt based variety, like Jund and Burn and Death Shadow variants, please consider subscribing to the channel, as we aim to be the most informative modern channel on YouTube's, with a little bit of Pioneer and Legacy thrown in on occasion. So, why did I pick this list? What is it trying to accomplish? What do I like about the list? What do I not like about the list before we get into the league? There's a couple of things I like, and number one is obviously Lurrus. I think this is a very powerful card that, without the companion mechanic being reasonable, obviously you can still play it in Burn sideboard, but with Burn kind of trending towards Incinerator, at least most of the people actively working on the deck that I can see, there were no Incinerator deck lists this weekend, but I know Poseidon and myself have both been working on the lists in the Burn Discord, so I think that deck will soon be making an upswing in Burn. It might be a split between Lurrus Burn and this Burn and traditional Burn. We'll see what happens there. But this is a very powerful card that, unlike Urion, hasn't really continued to see a ton of play in the modern format, and I think that's a crime. But that's not the only reason. Another thing I like is the presence of Seal of Fire. So, the big thing with spot removal, Path to Exile, Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, they'll require you to hold up mana. And while I'm not a huge fan of the return rate on Seal of Fire, I think in a Goblin Snoop Ether Vial world, or in a Special Snoop Ether Vial world, it's very nice to have your removal spell sitting in play. Like the ability to just go, okay, Seal of Fire when I have a free mana, and it just sits there and I can break up the new Splinter Twin combo at any time, is just a nice addition. And obviously its synergy with Lurrus of the Dream Den is pretty insane. Shame we don't have bolts, but recurring shocks might actually be better currently in the format. Obviously Fatal Push, Seal of Fire as your removal spells on one, Assassin's Trophies, and Kologon's commands, as well as Liana's, kind of round out your removal and disruption suite. 4 Inquisition, 2 Thoughtseize, whether that's correct or not, always with Jund, you probably want to err on the side of your life total being a little bit more conservative, so I can understand this current split. Obviously Ren and 6, very powerful card, 3 Liliana, 3 Ren. 2 Cruxa as kind of your auxiliary threat besides Tarmogoyf and Skoos. 2 copies of Dark Confidant. This deck is obviously very 2-drop centric. To really leverage Lurrus of the Dream Den. One thing I didn't like about the Bloodbraid Elf and Dream Den versions combined is the CMC gets a little redonkulous when, you know, you're trying to cast Lurrus of the Dream Den and you have your cheapest thing you can bring back is a 2-mana spell. It's just not good. Bloodbraid Elf, obviously very powerful card. I'm not sure that this is currently the format for it. And 22 lands feels a little bit low. I might want a 23rd land, but with 4 baubles and a little bit lower curve for Jund. We'll see how that goes. Sideboard, once again, gotta keep in mind, Snow's a thing, so plenty of land destruction here. 3 Pillage, 2 Boil. You gotta be ready for the Snow Menace. 2 copies of Ashiok Dreamrender, pretty good against... not really good against Tron per se, but can come in against Tron. Is pretty good against Amulet. Is decent auxiliary graveyard hate against Dredge and stuff, along with Clothes and Nihil Spell Bombs, as well as your scavenging uses. So this kind of gives you the fast graveyard hate, the more permanent base graveyard hate, and then obviously your kind of chewy card here in Klothys, God of Destiny. This is a card that's popped around as one of lists, kind of faded when Lurrus Jund became a thing. And I think this is a card that I've even seen Poseidon messing with in some of the burn lists he's been working with. And his thought process is this just kind of card just chews up and spits out snow matchups. They want to go long. This gives you 2 damage a turn. Chews up their graveyard, so it's a lot more difficult for them to bring Uro back. A lot more difficult for them to recur things with Mystic Sanctuary. So definitely a card worthwhile in a deck that's trying to go even a little bit longer than burn. And then finally, Collective Brutality, Weather the Storm. Red decks are still a thing. I don't think these are the best tools to fight the Incinerator version of burn, but it seems like the vast majority of burn is still the traditional and Lurrus versions rather than the Incinerator versions. And then finally 2 copies of Engineered Explosives because it's a good pseudo sweeper in a lot of spots. Good against all the tribal decks, good against burn, good against a lot of things. Plus, obviously, it has synergy with Lurrus. So, well, you could play, you know, Plague Engineers, Anger of the Gods, a lot of other things on this thing. I think that this particular build, Engineered Explosives, makes a lot of sense. So, let's get into some Jund matches and see if we can Jund some folks out. And let's get into the league. Back for match number 1. We are on the draw. This hand's decent. We have Kozilek's Return into Renin 6. We have Assassin's Trophy mana. The 2 problems with this hand is there's nothing to recur with Renin 6 right now, and the fact that we don't really have the mana for Kolaghan's Command and Lurrus yet. That said, I think it's a keep, you know, especially in a 22 land deck. And it looks like we're going to immediately get paired against some type of control deck. So, on Inquisition, see what we can see. See what you got over there, friend. Could obviously be like a slow draw from Storm or one of the tempo decks that have been running around. But obviously, usually you see Floodisser and you think control deck. So, our hand's not terrible in a grinding matchup, especially if we can land Ren and draw a fetch land at some point. We'll have a lot of recursion with Ren and 6 and such. Obviously, Kolaghan's Command and the ability to rebuy things like Lurrus and Scavenging Ooze. But, once again, that's kind of conditional on actually drawing a fetch land at some point, which there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fetch lands in the deck. So, not a ton of fetch lands going on, but still overall pretty decent. How much does a typical Jund list run? Or a more traditional version of Jund, I should say. Great, they're grouping that with... And our opponent has lost connection to the game, and we win the match. Well, that's disappointing, but I guess you take wins when you can. Oh well, unfortunate. On to the next match. Back for match number 2. Our opponent was so overwhelmed by Blackleaf Cliffs and the Inquisition, they conceded. So, fortunately this hand's a mulligan. The basic mountain obviously really awkward. Can't cast Ren, can't cast Tarmogoyf. I think we could do better. Well, I think we're going to keep this hand, put back a trophy. The reasoning and thought process is if we draw a second land, I think we're in really good shape. So I'm going to grab Overgrown Tomb. Cast Inquisition first, obviously. You're up against Mill. So, awkward. So they're going to mill us for a bunch at the end of turn. And we go from there. I guess we either take Visions of Beyond, which I think might be the correct thing, or Cling to Dust, although Cling to Dust we can't really get rid of, or we just take both Fatal Pushes. I think we might be better off taking both Fatal Pushes, because we need to stick a Bob here. Here comes Architrav, here comes Architrav, right down Architrav Lane. Alright. Land, please. Oh, well. I mean, we did keep the one lander, which I suppose is my own stupidity there. Visions of Beyond. Fatal Push and Cling to Dust. I'm going to take Visions of Beyond here. Fortunately, missing our second land drop, which means we are in a world of trouble. So. Yep. Now it's awkward. What do we actually fetch here? Guess it may only be... Oh, we actually have all three basics to choose from. So I guess we do this. Trophy of the Crab, I guess. Mesmeric Orb isn't great for us either. Sure. Alright, let's go into the next game. We are just too far behind here. Alright, we definitely want the Boils. Clothis could be a reasonable card. Engineered Explosives could be okay. Don't think any of the rest of these are particularly necessary. One at least has Hedron Crab. Hedron Crab. O2, Seal of Fire can take care of it. Cruxa seems really slow in this style of matchup, and they're probably going to be bringing in some type of Graveyard Hate anyway, and then Boils the Lurruses. Don't want to go down too much on threats. Shave a push or two. Shave a trophy. I mean, trophy answers the crab and the orb, but at the same time, Really don't want to be playing too much of that game, and then maybe we're bored out of Lurrus. Yeah, I'm really not worried about being my companion in this game. Like I said, that hand was a gamble mainly because we didn't have a lot of lands. This hand we can even play without ever activating that fetch land, so this hand's definitely a keep. Orb, Crab, Glimpse, Push, Eliminate, and Ashiok. Well, fudge. However, they do only have one land. Maybe we're just supposed to take Fatal Push here. Hope they brick on lands. Guess that was the part I was missing about all that. Okay. I highly doubt they would play that unless they had another fetch land. So, am I supposed to take my chances? And I don't think so. I'm just going to bob here. Hope that we get a little bit lucky and they miss on a land drop. There's another Fatal Push, which is unfortunate. Pass turn. Hope they continue to miss on lands. Of course they don't. Yep. Comes eliminate. Yep. Yep. Okay. So these fetch lands in hand because they're really not serving much purpose. Snaring Bridge. Okay, maybe that's a reason to leave Trophy in. Woof. That was dumb. Alright, so we still have one Kolaghan's Command and one Assassin's Trophy to draw to, I guess. Alright. And Zaboil Gata. Alright, get the Assassin's Trophy back in our deck. I guess Engineering Explosives and the answer isn't out too. Just get a Fatal Push out. Gives us 3 one-man answers to their idiots. The hand was fine. This hand can't be a keep because we have 1 lander again. Can't keep this hand again. Really don't want to go down to 4, so get rid of. Hope we hit a fetch land and don't get archive trapped. A terrible land, I suppose. So I could play EE out preemptively on 1. Or I could wait to see if they have orb or bridge. I'm going to wait to see if they have orb or bridge here. Okay. There's Glimpse. It's possible I'm supposed to leave in Croxa in these matchups. Archive Trap. Okay. Good to know about. We grab Twilight Mire here. Allows us to play around needing fetch lands, because I really don't want fetch lands with an Archive Trap. Well, known Archive Trap in our opponent's hand, so. Eliminate. Sure. Such a brutal new card to the format for Jund. Guess this is. That's an Ashiok. Our opponent's been very, very careful to play around. You know, they have Archive Trap, have Glimpse, Archive Trap, Archive Trap. Okay. Yep. Actually dumb. Allows them to Archive Trap. Oh well. spells are kind of useless here. We're just going to die with archive traps. Let's pass turn. Since they cast an archive trap, blow up their Reliant Island. If they had another land, we're just dead. Alright, written archive trapped here, so unfortunate loss to Mill here. So 1-1 in the league. On to the next match. So we're back here with match number 3. We're on the draw. This hand really has some downsides to it. There's really no one-mana interaction, no discard spells, no fatal pushes, no seal of fires. I still think we keep this hand because it has run in 6 and some powerful plays to do. Even if run in 6 for some reason gets countered or taken out of our hand, we can play a Tarmogoyf for a Kroxa, so this hand's perfectly functional, and if we get to stick the run in 6 onto, all the better. Stomping Ground. Oh. This is going to be a rough one. We are up against Gruul. Play that so we can at least fetch a whatchamacallit if we have to. It did mulligan to 6, so maybe they'll have kept a 1-lander. Nope, no such luck. Notably, they can't play a Magus here or they lose their Utopia Sprawl. Okay. Fatal Push was actually a pretty good draw overall. Awkward, because we have to, like, dome ourselves, plus make ourselves more vulnerable to Blood Moon. I think I'm going to take an awkward risk here and actually Kroxa them to get another card out of their hands since they are low on resources. Just hope we don't get Blood Moon next turn. Magus. Some ways I'm kind of hoping they Magus us. Clothis. Well, that one's going to be a little rough. Tarmogoyf this turn. Yep. Please don't be freaking Spyro. Of course it's Spyro. Tarmogoyf into a 2/3. We'll get lucky and they'll attack run. Nope. Okay, no such luck. Obviously, if they have bolt effects, we're likely dead here. They have the bolt, we're dead anyway, so show me lightning bolt. Oh, just make a bunch of Spyro tokens, yeah. So that puts me to 1. And then we're dead the following turn. Got a stomp or something to finish the game off. Nope, just click another Spyro. Sure. Pillage is kind of pointless at this point. So we're just dead here, right? Like I can answer the creatures, but then we're just dead to Clothis. Pillage actually blew up one of our green sources, which killed an out of... It's possible we were supposed to play Lurrus there. Would help us get back in the game life gain wise. I honestly don't really have a whole lot for this matchup, do we? Could bring in the Pillages to answer their own LD game. Clothis could be reasonable in some spots. EE potentially reasonable against their mana dorks and whatchamacallits. Croxo just seems not the best in this particular matchup. Of course, neither does Confidant for that matter, but I think I'm more willing to leave Confidant in that case. Shave one Lurrus, it's not the best in the face of a Clothis. And then... Maybe the EEs are just too crazy. Try it like that. This is a matchup, obviously, that's given Jund fits since its reintroduction back into the meta, so... one lander, Twilight Mire, can't keep. I guess between this and the bauble, I'm willing to keep and probably ditch the trophy here. This hand obviously is a huge gamble. Turret ourselves with the bauble. See an Inquisition on top. Obviously we need to draw a land, so... Get Overgrown Tomb, I suppose. It's like our most default thing. Hopefully they have the sprawl. Need to land this turn, or we're pretty much dead. Alright, so once again, the one lander gamble didn't pay off, even with the bauble. I just don't think we're winning on a mull to 5. Well, maybe we're not the only ones that gambled on a land here, so... Well, if they have a moon effect, we're pretty well dead here, so I think I'm just gonna grab the old thing and hope they brick again, I suppose. I'm gonna grab the verdant, it's more relevant towards the colors we want, so. Don't draw land, don't draw land, don't draw land. It's like a stomp just to... Nope, bolt. Okay. Perfectly fine with that exchange. This thing is an interesting perspective. I think we Thoughtseize them here. Thoughtseize plus Tarmagoozle. Baloth, Clothis, Pillage, and a Partridge and a Pear Tree. I think... What do we even care about here? Tarmagoozle plus Tarmagoozle probably equals win. Unless the hit runner lands. Alright. So... That's actually a tough one. Where are we supposed to... Are we supposed to mull that hand or not? That's, like, it paid off a turn later, which we got lucky there. I'm not going to sit here and say that hand wasn't a gamble. But between 2 draw steps and a scry effect, I think we were good. Well. Nope, 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 nope. 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 No. Okay. Once again, EE's only particularly good against Utopia, Sprawl, and Arbor Elf. This hand is pretty functional overall. Has one of our ways to fight Klothys in its opener. And even if they have Baloths, which they've shown us, Leon is still pretty reasonable, and we get to check with Inquisition. See if they have it. So, yep, they probably have Utopia Sprawl in one. Yep. Always got the Sprawl, man. They always got the Sprawl. Alright, that makes this hand much more interesting in terms of its execution. So they've got Pillage and Chandra. Gotta let them build up their mana, which kind of sucks, but rather not have my lands blown up if all possible. Question is, do we take the Chandra, or do we just intend on killing it with Goyf? Would Goyf even kill it at this point? Alright, so that will enable us to hold up Fatal Push. Just think we Thoughtseize is here as awkward as it is on our curve. Card in hand is a Windswept Heath. He did not top deck like a champ. So I think my priority is to get the clock down. Curious what they kept in hand. Could obviously have been a Baloth. They were expecting the Liana progression. Okay. Gotta leave the Seal of Fire in play, not because I particularly care about the card, because most of what it can kill is already gone, but because we need to be able to trigger Revolt with Fatal Push. And our opponent may very well be flooding out here. Inquisition. I think the correct play might be to play Liliana and not Activator. As crazy as that sounds. Alright, and we beat Gruul. Nice. What was their hand? 2-1. On to the next match. Back for match number 4. We're on the draw, but we have the progression of Inquisition into our choice of threats. So definitely a keep. Hopefully our opponent's turn 1 play isn't too broken. Snow-covered island into Arkham's Astrolabe, the most dangerous opening in the format. Yep. I think we're going to fetch Blood Crypt here. Take a look at their drawing. The mighty snow-covered island. So I'd like to do that. Inquisition, target you. Run in 6, lightning bolt. Wow, that's a hand. So it looks like we're up against Team Wreck. And the take is okay. I mean, that's a thing. I think from a mana efficiency standpoint, we just want to play Tarmogoyf here, knowing what their entire hand is. Yeah, you're either going to grow Spiral or Codal, sure. Okay. So only one unknown in your hand? Are you gonna Uro-sun? Feels like you're gonna Uro-sun here. I guess you could be Growth Spiraling. Interesting thing to main phase. Okay. Fatal Push or Seal of Fire would be very nice. Trophy. Problem is they get to copy the Thoughtseize, so I actually don't want to pass priority here. And this Bolt, Expansion, Explosion, 2 unknowns? Don't know what our opponent will take. If they copy Thoughtseize, they're remanding Thoughtseize. Another Codal is really annoying. I think we offer the trade here, as much as it sucks. I really hate control decks sometimes. I mean, we do have quite a bit for this matchup, but it's still... This ooze is just getting bolted or remanded. Alright, on to the next game. We just can't beat this level of stupid. Just can't beat that level of stupid. Clothis comes in. Boils come in. A lot of our other cards are pretty good in this matchup. So, like, shave on that. Shave on a Kolaghan's command. Like, I'd like to shave Seal of Fires, but we really need answers to their stupid Codals. Trophy isn't great, but it does answer Wreck, which is their, like, biggest tool overall. Is it once again, it's like shave Lurrus? Leave ourselves a little light to Codal answers, but we do have Ren pings, etc., etc., so... Sand's definitely a keep, but it's awkward with our sequencing. Like, if we Inquisition on 1, we can't really Croxa on 2. So it might just be correct to Croxa. I don't know. Okay, they're already mulliganing to 6, so that makes me more inclined to Inquisition. Barrenmore, obviously, is a very weird card overall. Veil of Summer, Kotal, and Spiral. We'll just take Veil. Fetching lands, that seems ambitious. Why would you shock in there? Okay, so they drew a Misty. Gonna presume they're going to Growth Spiral. Nope, they're still doing Codal and such. Okay. Awkward, right? Growth Spiral, sure. card in hand we know of is the Codal, which we have an answer with Fatal Push. Okay. It has Codal and 2 unknowns in hand. We go to combat first, see if we can bait out the Codal. Let's see if that can clear the way. Sure. Blood Moon and Sarkin. So take Sarkin. Well, this is going to be an interesting game. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg? All right. So opponent tipped their hand a little bit with Blood Moon, and we showed them our heavy hitter with Still not sure I want any of these cards. Brutality is obviously a lot worse against like a lot of what our opponent has going on, so Can I afford to keep this awkward mess of a hand? Mainly the mana's awkward, and our inability to play around Blood Moon's a little bit awkward. Can't really Inquisition until 2. I think on the draw we need to do better than this. I mean, at least this hand can play around Blood Moon, right? Don't know that we really want to get into a grinding game with them, but, you know. Good chance they have Veil of Summer here, which I don't particularly care about with this hand for right now. Awkward. This gets bolted, it gets bolted, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it, obviously. And survey says... dead. It's dead, Jim. It's dead. They are definitely holding up Veil of Summer. It's a pretty nice one. Probably gets counterspell of some kind, I presume. Or some negation, sure. And that's going to be our choke point here, so I guess we run out Goyf. Okay. It's unfortunate we couldn't punish them with a boil in response to that factor fiction. And they're going to play Uro, so... And then Wilderness Wreck means there is no particular opening. Plus they'll have Codal still. This game's just over. Unfortunately, between Euro and Factor Fiction, we just can't grind through that. The fact that we're missing land drops, our only, like, saving grace is a Hail Mary boil, and, you know, sometimes you don't hit that. Alright, we're back for the 5th and final match. Sands Keep. We have Disruption into Renin 6. Blood Crypt. No Tappy Tappy. So am I to estimate this means we're up against Dredge, possibly? Feels like Dredge. Groyle's Vengeance. Alrighty, well, that is a 2-1. Okay. So we get to 6. Shoot that, I think. Sure, this is in fact a 2-1. Summoning Sick. Bilharg, the Razebore. Put a creature in the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Okay, just making sure. Really would like to find some way to disrupt them. Doesn't involve discarding their big monsters. Well, phooey. I guess I can do this and still hold up whatchamacallit this turn, so I'm good with that. Fetch in response. Okay, you have Veil of Summermane? You do. Cool. What a freaking world we're in. Okay. We really need a clock now. Alright, let's not. I was gonna say. Yep. Okay. Okay. Don't know why the opponent would scoop there, but I'm not going to complain either way. That's definitely denial. Spell bombs. Ashiok might be an interesting card. We'll see. Seal of Fire. Generator Servant make things interesting. And some ways of the arm might be a little bit awkward, so sure. Working the 5. Seal of Fire. I think we can safely fetch that away. Play around Blood Moon if we can too, just to cut off all the outs. Position. So how much do we think they are bluffing, and how much do we think they legit have Veil here? At some point we can't play around it, so if they have it, they have it. Okay, they have it, sure. Pentad Prism's kind of whatever. Sure. They have a second Veil, they have a second Veil, I'm not playing around it. Target player discards a card, destroy target artifact. Target player, target artifact. Gristlebrand. 2 unknowns in hand. Oh, what a mess. What happens when you have a hand that prioritizes disruption and not I'm just going to hard cast an Ilharg here. Doesn't have haste, correct? Through the breach. Sure. Emrakul. Well, that's fun. It's protection from colored spells, so cool. Sure, because why not? And we're carefully playing around Blood Moon the entire game and then get annihilated. Alright, I think that's enough to... Pretty good rips, pretty good rips. Keep the one lander. That's pretty good. Put back the mountain. We just take the Pentat Prism here. Hope Tarmogoyf is good enough. It's unlikely they'll build a combo next turn, so Ransack Lab's not instant, correct? Alright, so let's grab the forest. Play the Tarmogoyf, pass the turn. That's annoying. You're really gonna lose to this pile. Seems like a good chance we might. Please wait, what? 5, 4, 3, 2. 5, 4, 3, 2. Show game log. Really awkward. Yep. Yep, unique, sure. Yep. So if you have double, whatchamacallit, we're in trouble anyway. You another big dumb idiot? Of course you do. Cool. Alright, on to the wrap-up. Alright, we're back with a quick wrap-up with Lurrus and the main deck Jund. Weird league, but lost to Snow, our teamer, Snow, Wreck, whatever. Lost to Mill, lost to Gold, or Jund, through the breach, basically Jund Garroyo's Vengeance, and then beat Gruul Monsters in a close 3-game set, and beat one other random opponent who just scooped after we Inquisitioned. Really kind of hard to get any type of grasp. Like, we played Mill and Garroyo's Vengeance, which are two weird decks to begin with, and then we went 1-1 against two relatively tough matchups in Gruul and Team Wreck. So hard to get a ton of information from this league other than, you know, I don't think Jund is obviously well positioned in the current meta. We've seen a lot of decks that just like can outgrind Jund, and when Jund is, things are going over the top of Jund, it's just like not the best place in the meta for a mid-range deck, obviously, that doesn't have like a fast clock. And you know, we had one or two hands that were kind of debatable with like the one land keeps, which is one of the risks of playing a lower land count. The man's a little awkward with the one Baron more sometimes in our opening hand. Like, this deck's fine, don't get me wrong, but it just, like, it really feels like you want another land, really feels like, you know, it's just playing too fair of a game right now and doesn't quite have the hitting power. But we didn't really run into the matchups that Jund wants to run into. We didn't run into humans. We didn't run into burn. We didn't run in... Or, not burn. We didn't run into humans. We didn't run into, you know, other mid-range decks like Rock or, you know, just kind of a rough league overall for what Jund was trying to do. Like, it feels like the Garroyo's Vengeance deck should be a fine matchup, but, you know... Like, game 2, I think we got punked out a little bit. That was just, like, 3 perfectly good rips. Emrakul into Blood Moon into Ilharg. Kind of hard to beat that. especially when we were even playing around Blood Moon. And then we got Emrakul and lost all of our basics. Yeah, just a really weird league and hard to take a whole lot of information from, but deck's interesting. I'm not really sure what the correct setup is. Obviously, Danny had a much better run with a couple 4-1s in leagues and a 5-2 finish in the challenge. Really just can't draw enough data from one league of this deck, so we'll probably have to run it back to get a little bit more. I might like cut a Lurrus or something else to fit a 23rd land in here. Just always feels like I'm always wanting one more land than a lot of these decks are playing, and yeah, what can you do? This has been John for MTG Nexus.